Right now, across the world, incredible things are happening, revolutionary things, and these things bring both hope and dangers. However, from my perspective, the majority of people are looking at individual issues and not zooming out and looking at the big picture. So in today's video, I'm going to explain how all of these issues are linked so that you will not be manipulated by one individual issue or another. This is relevant for both the continent of Africa, but also for any other individual, diaspora, Black, white, Asian, whatever, around the world. Thank you so much for choosing to watch this video today. If you don't know me, my name is TJ. I'm Nigerian and British mixed. And on this channel, we talk about African geopolitics. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Walter Scott's 1908 words directly address today's leadership crisis. When leaders enable unethical behavior and support states committing crimes against humanity, there creates cascading consequences, spiraling towards war crimes, genocide, and nuclear conflict, threatening world destruction. This unfolds in real time as Western leaders accumulate blood on their hands, continuing to arm Israel during what constitutes ethnic cleansing in Gaza. This week, Israel bombed multiple countries across the Middle East and Africa, most notably attacking Qatar, a key US ally, hosting America's largest Middle Eastern military base. This attack came while Qatar mediated peace at America's request. Qatar's Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed told CNN about this unprecedented betrayal, and I quote, "I have no words to express how enraged we are from such an action. This is state terror, and we are betrayed." Qatari citizens died attempting to broker peace, proving Netanyahu wants chaos. However, this transcends the Middle East. When nuclear-armed Israel acts with complete impunity, attacking sovereign nations and targeting peace mediators while the world watches, we approach conditions historically leading to world wars. The real danger isn't just military escalation, but complete trust breakdown between leaders and citizens. When governments claim inflation is 2%, while everyone is experiencing 20%, when they celebrate job growth while families feel impoverished, claim economic strength while people can't afford groceries, celebrate stock gains while the ordinary citizens drown in debt, the gap between the official narrative and the lived reality becomes a chasm. This destroys societies from within, not just economic hardship alone, but realizing leaders gaslight you about that hardship. People sense when they're being lied to, breeding a rage that can topple governments. And we're witnessing this explosion across the West. Every European country faces the same crisis point right now, be it Britain with the recent riots, or France as it approaches financial collapse. This week in America, we witnessed the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a killing that sent shockwaves through American politics, revealing the depths of rage building beneath the Western society's surface. For years, British governments have made the same mistake that's destroying America, covering up grooming gangs to avoid difficult conversations, launching wars based off weapons of mass destruction lies, crushing the middle class with taxes, while the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, labeling Israeli apartheid criticism as anti-Semitism, while Israel bombs civilians. Most damaging, gaslighting its own citizens about their economic reality. This week, Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom March brought over 1 million people to London streets, the largest demonstration in British history, following a summer of anti-migration riots that generated 1,800 arrests. The British government blames racism and far-right agitation, missing deeper truths. These anger explosions happen because the leaders have lost all credibility. When leaders consistently act in bad faith, spinning manipulations instead of telling hard truths, they create the conditions for social breakdown. People seek answers for the suffering that they're experiencing. The specific target matters less than the underlying dynamic. A population no longer trusting anything leaders say. Truth and freedom of speech overlaps all of these concerns. British marches with Tommy Robinson fundamentally concern immigration and British culture changes through perceived aggressive Islam. Free speech connections emerge, examining cases like the young girl prohibited from wearing a Union Jack dress to school on her Culture Day. Protesters arrested for holding "We Support Palestine" action signs. Indeed, Banksy, the artist, is currently under investigation for dissent. You see, free speech issues cut across both extreme Islamic protesters and Palestinian supporters. And Palestinians are Islamic. The underlying issue remained identical. Leaders refusing to call things as they are, lying and gaslighting instead of addressing problems honestly. Desperate for answers, people focus on one point or another, making it about Islam in Britain or Israel specifically, when a larger issue of good faith and leadership, telling the truth, honesty, and ending mismanagement, servicing clandestine and shadow interests, is an issue that never seems to be addressed. When people lose institutional faith, feeling gaslit and manipulated, they will embrace whatever they see in front of them as the main issue. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how democracies collapse. Stable societies descend into civil war. Regional conflicts explode into world wars. We saw this in a place where most people have not focused on this week, Nepal. Starting seemingly small social media platform bans, Prime Minister KP Sharma government banned 26 platforms. This is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the big ones. Nepal's youth recognized it as an attempt to silence their criticism of government corruption and politicians' children's lavish lifestyles. For months, Nepali youth shared photos and videos of Nepo kids, politician children's flaunting designer handbags and luxury travel, while ordinary families survive on $1,400 annually. When government tried shutting down this criticism by banning social media, it became the final straw for a generation facing 20% unemployment. Their organizational technology should terrify every leader thinking they can control information in today's day and age. This was not social media. This was Jack Dorsey's revolutionary BitChat mesh technology. Dorsey's decentralized messaging app operates over Bluetooth, low-energy mesh networks, enabling encrypted communication without the internet or any central servers. Messages hop from device to device, creating resilient networks governments cannot shut down or monitor. Young people coordinated through encrypted mesh networks and Discord servers with no formal leadership, no centralized command, just shared rage and digital tools, making them impossible to silence. Within days, tens of thousands flooded the capital streets, and when police killed 19 protesters on September 8th, including a 12-year-old child, protests exploded into revolution. They stormed the federal parliament and set it ablaze. They burned the Supreme Court. They attacked government offices nationwide. By September 9th, the prime minister resigned and the government fell. 51 people died, mostly young people, wanting government serving them instead of lying to them. For the first time in Nepal's history, a woman leads the country. Former Chief Justice Sushila Karki, chosen not by politicians, but by the protesters voting on Discord. Before I came across this situation, in my mind, Nepal is a place of peace and Buddhism and somewhere you go for tranquility. This demonstrates how a lack of good faith from the leadership can turn a society that is perceived as peaceful into a revolutionary one. Crucially, this wasn't about social media bans, but years of accumulated lies, corruption, and bad faith governance reaching a breaking point. When people lose leader faith, realizing they're systematically deceived, any small issue becomes a catalyst for total system collapse. This reveals different propaganda levels positioning societies worldwide, national level, governments lying to citizens about economic conditions and foreign policy, and multinational level, entire alliances coordinating lies, justifying wars and exploitation. Nowhere is this more obvious than the Western government's disingenuousness about Africa and the Sahel region. For decades, Western media and governments painted Africa as helpless, backward, needing Western intervention, justifying military bases, economic exploitation, and political interference as necessary for bringing stability and development. But where is all of this development? And where is all this stability? The truth is visible everywhere online. We are seeing what's really happening with leaders like Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. The 36-year-old captain became a global symbol of African resistance to neo-colonialism, a very real and true reality that the average person in the West doesn't consider or know about. Like these viral and domestic protests in Britain and Nepal, Traore's message goes viral across Africa, the entire continent, and onto the diaspora beyond the continent. When Europe and America conspire to kill someone like Gaddafi, funding Islamic military groups, destabilizing leaders across the West, East, and Central Africa, people can now see it. Corrupt puppet leaders are exposed, and Western citizens are starting to realize that their governments are complicit in murderous acts across the global South. Traore has accomplished in his country what previously assassinated leader Thomas Sankara attempted in 1987. The West orchestrated his assassination. I think it's key to note that the British protests are trying to restore Britain for the British. And over there in Burkina Faso, Traore is trying to restore Africa for Africans. It is the meddling of outside influence and clandestine actors that is causing the mess for both these communities. In the case of Traore, the support represents a global issue for Blacks, Africans, and diaspora, because his success represents true African independence. Propaganda cannot hide the truth anymore. The internet allows people to see and judge for themselves. The pattern remains consistent. Leaders make small truths and justice compromises. They enable wrong behaviors because it seems politically convenient. They lie about economic conditions because truth is too painful. They support criminal allies because alternatives seem complicated, or it serves the interest for some controlling shadow force. Each compromise makes the next compromise easier. Each lie requires a bigger lie to maintain it. Each injustice they enable emboldens worse injustices. Eventually, the gap between official reality and lived experience becomes so wide, people stop believing anything leaders say. Society becomes ungovernable through normal democratic means. People then seek radical, violent, revolutionary solutions. The very stability leaders sought to protect through the lies and compromises get destroyed by those same lies and those same compromises. This is what we're witnessing globally, from Charlie Clerk's assassination in America to youth revolting in Nepal to the massive protests in Britain. Old control systems are breaking down. The internet and social media make information monopolies impossible. Young people can now organize faster than ever and respond faster than governments. Leaders everywhere must understand the rules have changed. You cannot just gaslight entire populations anymore. You cannot enable war crimes expecting people not to notice. You cannot lie about economic conditions when everyone feels the daily reality. You cannot spin your way out of systematic failures. The choice for leaders is simple but stark. Start acting in good faith or watch societies tear themselves apart. Address problems at their root before they metastasize into revolution. Tell the hard truths even when politically inconvenient. Hold allies accountable even when it complicates relationships. Serve people instead of special interests. If you continue deception and enabling, the blood that follows will be on your hands. The world's youth are watching, learning, organizing. Technologies like mesh networks are making them impossible to silence, and they will not accept the previous generation's failures and lies. The highest stake game is no longer even at the country level or the continental level. Humanity has the power to destroy itself via nuclear war. Some experts say that a single nuclear detonation could create a global nuclear winter, killing everyone via secondary and tertiary effects: radiation, ecological collapse, starvation, etc. History repeatedly shows the same escalation pattern. We must forge cooperative relationships, even with ideological opponents. Otherwise, the path of discomfort and destruction and blood risks escalating to build a catastrophic end. If you have nothing to say out there, would it be too much if I asked you to write the words "good faith leadership" now? It just lets me know that you watched the video to the end, you like the message, you like what I'm doing, and you want me to continue. Thank you so much for watching this video today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.